Barely.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. Monday, April 4th, 2022. This is the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First is to review the agenda.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is discussion and possible action to approve claims dated April 4th, 2022 in the amount of $258,164.81.
I'll move their approval.
I'll second it.
Motion by Jeff, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is discussion and possible action to approve Drainage District Number 13 stamped warrants payable dated April 4, 2022 in the amount of $64,383.49.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Doug. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes. Next is discussion and possible action to approve Resolution 0404-2201, designation of the Muscatine County Attorney's Office for limited access and as a non-public area.
Jim wanted to be here for this, but he had something going on right at 9 at the courthouse, so I don't think he's gonna be able to make it. But we've had a couple incidents of people attempting to videotape in the county attorney's office, and after some discussion, we just feel with witnesses, victims, and those sorts of things that are in that area, Jim would prefer that the board pass this resolution, that there is no videotaping, and specifically designate non-public areas.
So that basically where the new transaction counter right up front, that stops right at that.
That access stops at that point.
At that point.
Videotaping would not be allowed anywhere in the county attorney's office,
Including the lobby area.
including the lobby, because
Yeah.
frequently we have
And we
victims
have
or
a plan
witnesses
to
sitting out
post
there.
that.
Yep.
Get signage and all that.
Nothing inside the building.
Yep,
I'm-
nothing inside their office.
I'm perfectly good with that. I'll move the approval.
Second it.
Got a motion by Jeff, second by Santos. This is a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
I vote aye. Santos?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I just want to make a question on that real quick. Will then he be handling then putting all the labels and the signs out for that?
We'll take care of it, yeah.
Okay.
We'll get those ordered and up.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is discussion and possible action to accept the county sheriff's office civil department's report of fees collected for the quarter ending March 31, 2022 in the amount of $29,297.13.
I'll move the approval.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the March 28th, 2022 regular meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jeff, second by Santos. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next is correspondence. Jeff, did you have any correspondence?
All I had was we had the joint meeting on Wednesday with the city and the school boards. And then I had a follow-up email from that Seth Toby at Walnut Creek Estates, and then I had told him that the county attorney would be responding to him, and then like 10 minutes after I sent him the response, the county attorney responded to him, so hopefully he got the response and all was good.
Okay, very good. I had the same correspondence that you had, Jeff. Santos?
So I had a number of different correspondence. One of them was an email that was sent from Nancy in regards to the Senate filing 236 with the windmills and the new changes that they're pushing through, that they're trying to pass the Senate, and basically keeping or eliminating the taxes that we're getting potentially now. So it was something that I don't know if you guys had a chance to review, but it was another county supervisor, I think out of, I'm not sure, Marion or where that county supervisor was from, but
Wherever John Wayne was born, Winterset was
Winterset, I believe, yeah.
that county.
and it's a way to
Way to
remember it, I
pull
guess.
trivia out,
Yeah, it's like, Well, that
Still-
memory cells, but ultimately, it was just an interesting piece on that, and I think there was some potential discussion coming out of that. I also had another email on 245th Street, part of the discussion that the homeowner was having was, hey, we're still having bad, when are you guys gonna come out and look at it? I'd reached out to Keith on that and saying, hey, we had commented that we were gonna look at the high spots, but also sharing with Keith in regards to understanding the cost, the time, and obviously the weather. Normally he doesn't, and I think Keith has commented multiple times on this, that we're not gonna go out there in a mud pit to go out and continue to add stuff on a road that's not ready yet. It needs to dry out, it needs to be identified. So we got a lot of stuff going on 171st Street, and so we shared that we were gonna come back and we would identify those things. And
It
we
took
would,
6 minutes, 18 seconds.
we would get to that, when he was able to. And so I think the piece that I shared back with the homeowner was that we're not forgetting, we're gonna get to it. It's just gonna be a matter of when we get to it and knowing that it's not in the top
Ready to
priority.
talk? You were gonna talk with me about that place if you're
I also
one. I'm trying to kill you.
I also had an email from Klinger and following up on where we were at on the pump rebuild, and ultimately also asking him what the timing was. So the pump is getting complete. It's almost done. The issue that they've run into is the right angle gear where it connects into the actual motor to the drive for the pump. They're trying to get the lead time on that. They said they would communicate to me in regards to when that gear would arrive, and then it would, I shared with them, obviously we're getting into the spring weather, so we want to make sure where we're at on the timing for that. Ideally it would be, close, but he said, we don't know yet. We're going to try to communicate. I should have something to you in another week or two. They're also working through some permitting that they're going to try to finish up to get the next step also on where we're at for the actual levee project as well too. Both of those he'll be communicating hopefully the next 2 weeks with me. The other item that was lastly that I had was the geothermal. Oscar's been working with the same group. They're sent him some more drawings. We had to make sure that we had some certain amount of information, but that we also have to be cognizant of not being able to share too much of the things from the jail. But we were wanting to make sure that we're including all of the buildings to make sure that they're gonna come in and do the load testing to verify exactly what all we have for water lines, dimensions, and then identify what their recommendation would come back to be. That's pretty much all I had for correspondence.
I had a question on that right angle gear, on that pump drive. Did they have to cut a new gear for it? Is that what the situation is?
So it's more just the timing of that gear, because it's a different ratio than what they had before. The
Okay.
one that they had was and they're trying to get the exact timing for what they needed to have for that motor to this new diesel drive.
Got it.
And that's not something that's just like a stock item from my
No.
understanding of it. So,
No, I'm assuming they had to cut it.
yeah. And they may have had to cut it, but
Yeah.
he just shared with me that was a longer lead time, but that was gonna be the final piece. Everything, when I told him, once we go back to getting the assembly, I wanna have pictures, I wanna see how it looks. And then hopefully I can share with the board once we see what we have in regards to the actual equipment new that goes in, because it was in really good condition when they pulled it out, which surprisingly for that many years.
It's amazing.
That many years in service. But I looked at the drawings, I looked at what we had, and Klinger's been really good in sharing information, so I'm hoping that we can get that, and I'll share it to the board once we have more updates.
Very good. Doug, you have any correspondence?
I had an email from Wayne Stewart, just a little confused on what district he lives in now, with the redistricting. So we figured that out for him.
Okay.
That's all I had.
All right. Committee reports. Did you have any committees, Doug?
Wednesday at 7 o'clock, the joint meeting at the Merrill. And this wasn't really a meeting, but we had our pizza, beer, and puzzle night at the fair on Saturday at 7 o'clock. That was sponsored by the West Lombardy Chamber. And we had a good turnout, and the proceeds from that go to all the flowers downtown. in West Liberty. Our race got canceled, our practice race and our car show for Saturday, so that'll be this following Saturday
Okay,
up at the fairgrounds. I believe that's all I have.
so you have, any committees, Santos?
So we had the joint meeting, as well too, and, part of the joint meeting again was sharing all of the information from the different groups. I think it was very productive for all the different groups to get together, but in conversations with the mayor, I think Jeff and I had the conversation afterwards, is also, keeping that, discussion going out further along and saying, how do we share really what our taxes have gone up versus the perception that your assessments have gone up and you're actually dollars paid in or not. So one of the things that was a discussion is there value in somehow sharing to the homeowners, either in, and I think you mentioned it earlier, Jeff, maybe in Beacon or something, to say, hey, here, punch in your address, and this is how much your dollars went up. I think there's value in that. I hope that there's something that maybe we can follow up, because to be misguided in thinking that, because there's so many different variables, the rollback, different things that come into your assessment or into your, what you're paying for tax dollars, but knowing that we have not raised taxes, I think is a big factor, and I just wanna know, or further along, possibly come up with options and maybe talking to Randy to see if there's a line item we can put, or with Beacon, I don't know. I think that's something that I'd like to further out, but I hope that we can make that a longer topic or something that we can identify. On Thursday, the 31st, I'm sorry, we had We Lead. Really good potential projects coming with West Liberty Foods. I think there's gonna be some further discussion that I'll be able to share on what some of these funding opportunities that they're reaching out to try to do a larger expansion for their facility, and I'm hoping maybe next month I'll have more details on that. The tire shop that they have, they filled out an IEDA grant. Looks like that's gonna go through. We should be getting some potential homes on, or I think 3 or 4 apartments out of that. Another one on the downtown, they filled out a housing grant. They're gonna get about $300,000 on funding on that one. And BICE status is gonna be 43 units, and they're gonna start digging dirt in the spring on that one. And that's through a TIF agreement that they've been able to get out through. So a lot of good things in housing, and they just announced a new sports complex that they're gonna be opening up, and so there's gonna be a lot of growth in West Liberty, and I had a conversation with the city administrator and the school board superintendent that, and I know we've talked about this before, maybe as, I know that we're not asking for more meetings, but I think there may be value for our board to have maybe 1 meeting a year with West Liberty and possibly Wilton, and I brought that up in our We Lead meeting, and having discussions. I think that not knowing sometimes if there's like duplications of services, things that maybe we can help in some shape or form, I think there's value in that, and so I encourage the board to think about that and seeing if maybe I could have that conversation, because obviously I can't do that on my own. It's just something that I think there's value in, knowing what we've done, in hopes that maybe we as a board could have 1 meeting either before budget or after budget. I don't know, whatever, Nancy, you think there's value in. If we want to do it just online or in person, I just think that we want to show value to our other cities, and I think that's an opportunity for that. That's all I shared with them. And that's all I had for meetings.
Okay. I had no meetings. Jeff?
No meetings.
Okay. Items with the administration office. Nancy, do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Receive information from county employees. Do I have any county employees that would like to address the board? Keith?
Good morning.
Morning.
Just a quick update on purchasing of our 2 Mack trucks that we ordered last fall. One has gone away. Mack just came around and said nobody's getting more than 1 truck. So, and it's also moved to the right on delivery, so we'll be lucky if we see 1 cab chassis this year. In other good news,
So that truck that purchase that went away. So we'll have to go back through the process, so they're not gonna honor pricing and,
There've been a number of counties saying, not necessarily Mac, but, you know, saying their dealer came to them and said, oh, you know, your new truck's here, but it's gonna cost you 15,000 more if you want it. So, I mean, that's a game that's out there.
Okay.
And I don't know what our particular dealer, but they still said they're expecting 300 build slots. They've been told to expect 20% of those to go away. So now they have 240 build slots, and they don't know how that'll divide between the various day cabs and tractors and
Yep.
trucks like we buy. But we'll have to get back in the game right away if we hope to buy anything there. The two motor graders, which we ordered last year, the current Altorfer, and I always say it, the largest cat dealer in the world, has sold 17 motor graders, of which Caterpillar is yet to accept an order. So they're sliding farther to the right, and we're hoping to still see them both, but may not see one this year. So the actual only good news in this is we try and keep our fleet in good shape, and it looks like we may have to
rely on that.
rely on that.
So Keith, having that with the equipment that we have, is there value in looking at, you know, obviously, when you talk about the reliability of what we have currently, rebuilding anything, or are we that far, I mean, we're not in a condition where
We're
the
not that
motors
bad.
are bad, or
We're not
that,
that bad at this point where that would be money worth spending. And hopefully it does turn around in a year's time, but currently it's, you know, it's just not good. You can tell that looking at the car dealers' lots in town, that they're just vacant lots, so. And by the TV ads that we will buy your car even if you don't buy from us. It's an industry that's, you know, having some challenges, so. And I don't remember if I told you, but the one, not wanting to make anything bad, the one pickup that we got delivered doesn't have all the chips in it. And General Motors made the decision to go ahead and ship vehicles with non-safety critical things not working. And they'll put the chips in when they get them.
it's got seatbelts and everything though, right?
It's got seatbelts
It's like-
and the brakes work, you know, as
Good,
far as we know.
All right,
And like I said, I'm not meaning to poke fun at that at all, but that's just the reality that's out there. That wanted to make you aware of it. Will continue. I mean, two things that are hitting our department really hard are the inability to buy or to receive delivery of equipment, and, you know, construction, as I said, is seeing those same sorts of delays. And that's for some different reasons. It's the cost of materials, but also supply and demand. Demand is up, but the capacity is not there to build it anymore, so that just means you build, frankly, less and later for a higher price.
This is where having a good maintenance program on your equipment is going to shine, because,
It is.
because this is gonna get worse before it gets better, in my opinion, overall. And, the facilities and the different entities that have heavy equipment, shall we say, if they've not taken good care of it, their cost of putting parts into these things to try to keep something working when they can't buy anything is gonna escalate substantially. And I think that we probably are in as good a shape as one could hope for with the type of maintenance program that you have on this equipment. So it'll pay benefits, I can assure you.
Is there any price guarantee on the motor graders? Or are we gonna expect
It's
that to
guaranteed to
go
go
up
up.
when we get them?
I have not, literally Thursday or Friday, I spoke to the salesman, and I did not ask that question, so I don't know the answer. I'm hoping that Altorfer can honor the prices that they have quoted us, but, you know, I don't know what happens if Caterpillar says, well, it's 20 grand more. I mean, it's probably gonna be a take it or leave it if it goes to that.
Yeah, based on the price increases, I doubt the dealer has the margins to absorb his,
Right.
you're gonna see a price increase. at the
It'll,
level.
it'll turn to a bidding war is what it'll be. That's how it works. So,
So we can only hope. That's all.
Keep them running, keep them out of the ditches.
yep. All right, thank you, Keith. Any other county employee wish to address the board? Receive comments from the public. Do I have anyone from the public that would like to address the board at this time? Seeing no one come forward, it is 9:21 and we are adjourned.